Why hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm Corny Swiss, and today I'm driving around in the SMK on a realistic battle, in a realistic battle, on Karelia. Now, I wanted to make a video about the SMK because, quite frankly, I've been making a lot of videos about American tanks, but I haven't really talked about many of the other tanks that came into the game. For example, the SMK, I haven't really given it any time. And I have played the SMK, and I do really like the SMK. But I like it for a few different reasons. The first, there's going to be one reason that I'm sure a lot of you have run into and is abundantly clear at the end of this replay. But there's just a lot of little nuances about the tank that I find really fun. I like its battle rating, 3.7. Right now, I mean, the entire matchmaker is loaded with Shermans and things like that. So it's nice to have a tank with at least some type of APCR capability. Now, the awkward thing about the position I'm in, and there goes my main turret, so now I have to use the 45mm turret. The awkward thing about the position I'm in is my gun depression won't allow me to get the gun all the way down on that Sherman. But I'm going to do my best to keep shooting him. And that's the first thing that I like about this tank. It's extremely durable, but not because it has tremendous armor. It has good armor, but not the best armor. The reason it's so durable is that it has about 10 billion crew members. What that means is it's very hard to knock this tank out in one shot. More often than not, you need 2, maybe even 3, or even more. In a recent video, I killed an SMK because I lit it on fire 3 times and eventually burned out. And even that took a very long time. It's a very tricky tank to deal with because it has 2 turrets. So almost no matter what, one of the turrets will be active if you shoot it. As you can see from that x-ray view of my tank, my main turret has been kind of cooked. A couple of my crew members are either dead or wounded, and that's resulted in my main turret being borderline useless. However, my smaller turret, the 45mm, is completely fine. No crew members have been killed or wounded in that turret, which means that gun is still in play and still very effective. So while people pound away at the turret that's already been knocked out, I just use the 45 to just cook them right back. And in this situation, when I'm engaging a KV-1, I don't have great chances against an angled KV-1. But I'm not even going to bother using the 76. I'm going to use the 45 and just gently walk my shells into his weak points. And eventually he's just a tough cookie. Someone else is going to have to deal the killing blow. Maybe a Sherman. That's something else I've noticed, is that the 3.7 used to be my favorite battle rating, and it still is one of my top battle ratings that I like to play at. The huge number of Shermans, though, is a little annoying sometimes. I'd like to see more diversity, but I mean, I guess they just came out, it's the new thing, and they are all really strong. The interesting thing is, I think the M4A1 needs a battle rating jump to like 3.7 at least. The M4 is good at 3.7 because I don't think it could go any higher. But you just have all these issues where, like, for example, my 3L, my Panzer 3L, I need APCR almost entirely to deal with Shermans, and at decent range, it's very difficult to deal with them. If they're angled a little bit, it's borderline impossible. Whereas even angled, my tank doesn't deal with that well. So, I mean, but the 3L doesn't have a tremendous amount of armor either way. I don't know, it's just, it's interesting to see what will happen in the future. But we're coming up over here, we're going to give the good news to this poor little AAA carrier. I mean, those things are dangerous when you're running against German tanks, but against Russian tanks, less so. But something else I wanted to mention is that with 1.45 they changed how the matchmaker works, and now like Americans can be playing alongside Russians, and I'm pretty sure Germans as well. I can't remember, but I'm sure it's happened. I don't always remember like who's on my team. I think that's interesting. In realistic battle, I think that's probably how it should be. I'm all for nations squaring off against each other. I don't really care about the idea that Germans should fight Russians and Americans shouldn't fight Russians because they were allies in the war. I mean that's a good idea, and I think that should be like events and stuff, doing like an event for a specific battle, like maybe Prokhorovka, and then have the period tanks, so it's Russians versus Germans, or have like if you can find some tank battle. Maybe you do when we finally get a winter map. You do like the Battle of the Bulge, and you have Shermans against whatever you want to put on the German team. And right there, you can see how much punishment that turret took. I don't think they actually penetrated my tank anywhere else aside from that turret. I mean, those guys are cooked. But you know what? I got a whole bunch of crew waiting to fill in the holes. But as I was saying, I think realistic battle, I'm okay with it being kind of pseudo. Well, not even like real history, because it just makes the game more interesting. You get more variety. You face different tanks and things like that. And also, I think it speeds up queue time, and speeding up queue time is a good way of getting new players involved and then keeping those players involved, rather than just someone sitting in queue for 5 minutes and then saying, oh, I'll just go back to World of Tanks and get a game within 10 seconds and go on my merry way tanking away. And that's, to me, the one thing. I think I've said it many times before. I prefer War Thunder Ground Forces to World of Tanks. Not to spark an argument about that, but just my train of thought is taking me there. And the main reason, but the one thing World Tanks holds over War Thunder is variety and quick queue times, which is really nice. So, I don't know. It's something that I was thinking about. I like how they changed it in realism. Now, simulator, if they keep growing the player base and once it becomes unnecessary, I think simulator battles should be one nationality versus another. Doesn't even have to be historical, just like Russians versus Americans or Russians versus Germans or whatever. Just because, I don't know, that just seems more appropriate for simulator game mode. But, that's just my thoughts. And for some reason, our allied plane is just wanting to shoot me. I don't know why, he's done 2 strafing runs on me. But our friend, the KV-2, has managed to get himself in a little bit of a hole here. I drove past initially thinking, oh, maybe he does want to be there. I don't think he actually does. So I turned on my towing hook and I'm backing up. I probably should have typed to him, I'll haul you out of there, give me a second. But I'm going to start getting into position and he's actually just going to wreck. A little sad. I wanted to help him. I wanted to be a good guy. Something else to notice about the SMK, look how long the thing is. It's a huge tank. And if you're thinking about getting yourself this tank, I would recommend it. I think it's a good tank. It's very fun to drive and very durable thanks to how many bodies are inside of it. How many crew members, rather. But even then, I mean, it's like, if you lose the machine gunner, okay, well, you got another guy to fill in this spot or whatever. It's it's durable just because it has so many crew members in it. It's very nice. Eventually I'll get around and do a full review of this thing. I say eventually, it'll be sooner rather than later, but I have a couple lined up in the meantime. For example, the next review I think is going to be the Porsche Tiger, because a lot of people are asking about that, and I can understand why. It's a very expensive premium. So I'll get a review out on that, give you my thoughts. I think it's just about done. It's maybe a few days, we'll see that. And then after that, I think the next one I have planned is the T-32, because it's another one that some people have asked, or I've been asked in game about, and it's an interesting tank, and I feel like I do want to review it. I don't have the M103 yet, and my patent is stock, so my patent won, so I haven't really worked on that. I think maybe after the T-32 I'll look at the either the SMK or maybe the Walker Bulldog. I'll look around. I have those two are the two reviews I've planned so far, but you will certainly have more than just two reviews over the course of the next few weeks. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. As always, I've been Corny Swiss, and I'll see you next time.